So this is just a quick video of me unsealing X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is the Uncaged edition for the PlayStation 3. This is a game from 2009. Came out day in with, or the same day as the movie. And this is one of those rare cases where the game is actually far superior to the movie. The movie isn't great. I personally really like the movie, but it definitely has its issues. And when it comes to the timeline of the X-Men, it's a mess. But basically, I just wanted to give my thoughts about this game, and I've been playing it. I've put in a good 3, probably 4 hours now, and I gotta say it's phenomenal. It's a really great game for 2009, especially. It's definitely very much in the vein of God of War. At this time, there was just a multitude of games coming out that were very similar to God of War in its hack and slash combat, where you basically learn combos and you get upgrades over time, and you just learn to string everything together. It's like pretty big learning curve, but once you get good at it, it's incredibly satisfying. And this game is no different. Even the story, I think, is phenomenal. It's not the same as the movie. It definitely has its similarities, but it's very original, and I absolutely love it. As you can see here, there's a multiple versions of this game. Not really versions, just regional variations of the box art. The game itself, from my understanding, is pretty much always the same. But each box art will be slightly different with the ESRB rating. As you can see here, we have the rated M, and then it's in French and English. So that's the Canadian version. And then there's also just the American version, which wouldn't have any French. And then there's the Australian version, which has MA on the front in red. And then we have the PAL versions, or European versions, that are either a white with the black 18 or red with, I think it's white 18. And I'll show some pictures on screen, so just so you know the differences, but just know that PlayStation 3 games are region-free, so no matter which copy you buy, if it's cheaper, just go ahead and pull the trigger, because no matter what system or copy of the game you have, they'll all play, which is fantastic. It's good to hear that. So I wanted to jump over to the gameplay now and talk a bit more about that along with the story. So let me show off some gameplay footage here, and as you can see very clearly right from the get-go that this is a very violent game. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of limbs flying everywhere, and as it should be, because Wolverine's main method of attack is razor-sharp claws that stick out of his hands. I mean, what do you expect? If you've watched Logan, it's just expect what Logan gave to us. And so you can see me stringing together some combos and whatnot here. And then you'll also see, this is something I did quite a few times for the first couple hours that I was playing, and that was jumping into the character screen where you can look at your fight moves. And there's just so much going on here, but it's really manageable. Some other games will throw everything at you too quickly. This game really kind of takes its time, I would say. They don't give too much to you. They kind of you get a lot from the get-go. And if you go into the menu, it might be a little overwhelming, but if you just kind of read them all, you go and you try some of them, and then you go back and open the screen up and try and read some more again, you'll start to see that it flows pretty well together, and it's not too complicated. That's something I've been playing Castlevania, Lords of Shadows, and that game just the first 2 full chapters are to me it felt like 4 hours of gameplay was just constantly trying to learn stuff, and they kept on throwing everything new at you, so just know that this game won't do that to you. Another thing I really like is the story isn't great. I mean, the voice acting is good enough. I'm not expecting I'm not expecting new God of War status voice acting with Atreus and
I'm at the site now,
that.
sir.
But for what it is, I think it's really good. And so far, like I've said, I've gone about 4 or 5 hours, and the story's well enough for me. It kind of jumps around to flashing back to Logan's days as being a soldier, and then going back to when he had just got implanted with the adamantium. So pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to note, other than the story, was when it comes to collectibles, there's quite a few collectibles throughout the level, so they really give you an incentive to explore a little bit. I mean, for the most part, you're going straight, but there are some branching paths, and you'll get small upgrades to your health or mutagens, which are kind of like perks, you could say. Along with trophies, you can find classic trophies of Wolverine in his original, or I think they're different. I'm pretty sure they're different costumes, and I want to say that at some point you could probably wear those costumes in the game, which would be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that if that's the case. and you can find these dog tags. These dog tags are just littered all over the levels. The levels are pretty long. I mean, to me, it's kind of more like one big coherent story, and it kind of jumps around. And you'll be in one area for like quite some time, though, like well over an hour, usually. So like this jungle theme that you have going on, it'll take about a little over an hour, and then you'll go into like more of a closed-off quarters where they call it the X facility, which is I consider it level 2. So that's, again, fine enough. No problems there. But yeah, if you've been thinking about trying this game out or buying this game, especially with all the hype around the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, definitely go ahead and do it. Look for a good price. Wait if you have to, because don't pay an exorbitant amount of money for a game that came out in 2009 unless you just really want to. So yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you're going to go out and buy it or not. Thanks.